Okay. Now, now it should work. Let's try this out. Let me get the sound down here on the thing, and then we will start our lesson if I get this right. I just don't want it to be too out of sync. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. Let me get the volume up. Hello, students, and welcome back to the classroom. I have a question for you today. Do you struggle with two-handed piano playing? Specifically those trouble areas where no matter how hard you practice and how long you spend at it, you just can't get it right and it's super frustrating? Well, be frustrated no more, since the guide I'm going to give you today is all about how to tackle two-handed piano playing and specifically those trouble areas. What you learn today can be applied to pretty much any piano piece, and it's some of the most important advice I will give you as a piano teacher. So I bet you can't wait to find out what it is. I can't wait to teach the lesson, so let's get right on to it. Okay, let me know how that was. Specifically those trouble areas where no matter frustrated no more, since the guide I'm going to give you today is all about how to tackle two-handed piano playing and specifically those trouble areas. What you learn today... Okay, so I was just looking it over. Let me know if that's good. I think it is. It's in sync. Fixed. Okay, great. Great. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to change it back to this. And I think we should be good. Let me test out something really quick. Let me know if the audio is syncing up to my voice right now as I'm doing it live, because the thing is that I'm streaming like with different audio devices. Each of them has a different like kind of delay, so that's why there's a lot of weird wonkiness sometimes in what goes on. So I'll give you a little behind the scenes of what goes on around here. Okay, so is this part in sync where I'm talking to you right now, or is it at least pretty close? If it's off by half a second, that's too long, but so long as it's pretty close. Okay, good. All right, great. So we're going to get on with the lesson. All right, let me do this really quick. We're almost there, I promise. And welcome anybody who's just coming out. Thank you for attending tonight. This is a live class that we have Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. It was like turning on a TV in a movie. I joined right at the moment you started that clip. Oh, I see. Okay, let me see. Let me make sure everything's set up here. Hello, students, and welcome. Okay. Let me do one more thing. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is picking a section to focus on. This is a huge thing a lot of students overlook most of the time, because what we tend to do is we start from the beginning, and that makes sense. If you're just learning a piece like we're going to actually talk about today, you want to start from the beginning. But what happens a lot of times is if we don't focus in on a line or a measure or something we want to focus on or need to focus on, we'll lose that focus, and by the time you know it, we'll actually be at the end of the song, and we won't have practiced the much needed parts that we needed to practice. So we're looking at this for the first time. We're going to start at the beginning, but I'm going to make a conscious decision right now that I'm working on this first line. Makes sense? First day working on it. Going to work on the first line, and I'm only working on this first line. I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to go through it as many times as I need to correct the mistakes and everything else. So looking through, we are in 6/4 here, so 6 beats in a measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat, not too bad. I also want to look at what key we are in. It looks like C sharp major to me. Yep. Looks like it to me. And now I'm just going to play through this first line. And how should I play it if I'm playing through it the very first time? Am I going to play it fast? No, I'm going to play it very slow and very carefully. Those are the basics we've talked about. And some of the other two-handed piano playing lessons is to go slow, but we're going to add in the extra of focusing in on this first line. Here we go. I think that's what that. Sorry, I didn't have the end of the line in there. I apologize if my face is taking it up. There we go. So what am I gonna do? I got to the end of the line. I'm gonna play the line again, and like I said, I'm gonna play it as many times as I need until I get it. I'm not gonna move on. I'm not gonna get distracted and start playing other things. So here we go. Now, if you notice, I didn't really mess up until the last measure. So what I'm going to do is focus in again. The key of this part of the lesson is focus. Focus in on just the last measure, and I'm going to play that as many times as I need until I have it right. Okay, let me try again. Whoops. And then Rich just asked, do you roll the first chord? Yep, you do roll the chords in that. So that's the next thing I'm going to go to. So I got that last measure in there right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it and play the whole line again that I'm focusing on and see how I do. And I'm going to roll the chord this time. Here we go. And I had a little bit of trouble there at the last measure, so I'm going to try that again. And there we go, I got it this time. Now that went okay, I'm going to try to add in a few more of the details, such as more of the rolled chords, doing a better job with those. Maybe even the mordent in the second measure there. All right, let's try it out again. So a little bit of trouble at the last measure. And I'm just going to play it over and over until I got it. One more time. And there we go, I got it. Now I'm going to try the whole line one more time. See if I can do it free mistakes. I'm going to try it a little bit slower to make sure I don't have any mistakes in there. Whoops. One more time. And there we go, I finally got it. It took some perseverance, it took some looking through and correcting, the problem areas. So you want to focus in on the first line, and then if you have trouble with any of the individual measures, you want to focus in on those measures. So that was the first tip I have for you, is focus, and don't let yourself get carried away and start playing other parts of the song until you have these ones finished. Super Princess asks, what do you mean by rolling it? So see this little squiggle on the chord? It's like a little squiggle. Just means you, instead of playing the chord all at once, you roll it from the bottom to the top. Just like so. You press the bottom one, middle one, and top one really fast. Just like that. Okay, time for number 2. Let me get it in here for us, everybody. Okay. Come on. All right. So before we move on, Rich asks, so it's best to learn each line perfectly before moving on. You should be proficient at the line. You don't need every single detail worked out, but you do need to feel comfortable with that line before moving on to the next one. Basically, the main point of it is to not leave mistakes behind. So if I played that line and I'm still making a lot of mistakes, I really should correct them. The sooner you correct mistakes, the better off you will be in the long run. I do it all the time where, not all the time, but I still do it where sometimes I'll learn a song and then I'll be like, oh, well, I'll correct that mistake later. I've always found that if I correct that mistake right now, I'm getting better at this, that it always works out better. That's something that I've actually realized just recently. So I would try to iron out as many of the mistakes as you can before moving on to the next one, but it doesn't need to be so perfect that you're getting frustrated and you just want to quit the song. But you do want to make sure most of the things are ironed out. That was a great question. All right, here we go. We're going to do number 2. So tip number 2 is play the passage if you're having trouble with it, or even if you're not, but quadruple all note values. This will force you to focus in on the movement between the notes and give your brain some time to better process what is happening in the music. Once you are able to play through the section, still keep the note values quadrupled, but count them a little faster. So each step we do in this, we're going to do the step before it. So we're going to focus in on a section, a new section, and then we're also going to quadruple all the note values, meaning we're timesing them by 4. Now let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so now we're going to work on quadrupling the note values. We're going to do the second line here because we haven't done that one yet. And I guess that view is pretty good for me anyway. Sorry that my picture is covering up some of it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play through this, but I'm going to play basically the eighth notes like quarter notes, or like half notes rather, and then the half notes like whole notes, and I'm basically doubling everything. So if I have a dotted half note, I'm going to hold it for 6 beats. So it's going to seem painfully slow, but it will really work out. So here we go. It's going to start from the beginning here. Just going to kind of line up my first few notes. Whoops. So I'm counting this as half notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to count and do this at the same time, but so I'm just going to keep playing. Here we go. Strange, but that is it. And actually, by doing that, like I said, it may seem painfully slow. I was actually able to correct mistakes on the fly doing that, playing it like that, because as I got into that third measure, I was coming down that scale, and I think I played an E sharp or something by mistake, but because I was going so slow, my brain could process it, and I could correct the mistake actually as I was playing it, because I gave my brain enough time. I've never played this piece before, and so this is the way I would do it, is quadruple the note values. I'd probably do it again to see how it went. But for this video, we're going to actually move on to the next step. So let's take a look at what the next step has in store for us. Oh, and by the way, another thing to add about the quadrupling of the notes is that you want to eventually start playing that faster and faster each time, just gradually. So I would still quadruple the note value, but then I would gradually increase the tempo each time until I got it. Okay, here we go. Okay, step number 3 is double note value. So before we quadrupled the note values, now we're doubling them. We are also going to still do step number 1, which is focus in on the same line we just did, line number 2 of this piece. So let's take a look at what we have here. So going back to the piece here, where we're still going to do the same line. I still haven't perfected it yet. I could have used the quadruple technique on it a few more times, and it probably would have polished it up. But what you want to do after that is you want to then just double it. So you're actually now just doubling each of the note values rather than quadrupling. So you're actually playing it twice as fast as we were playing it before, although you can count the tempo slower if you need to. So now I'm counting these eighth notes as quarters. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And it actually went pretty well. I only used the quadruple technique on this once before I did this. Normally I would do that over and over again, but actually just doing it once and then doing the double really helped. I was able to process the notes pretty much in time. A lot of people, what they struggle with when they do two-handed piano playing is they can't process the notes ahead of time. So that's why the quadruple technique followed by the double technique is very important, because it helps you gradually get up to that speed you need to go while starting out at a speed that your brain can process. So here we go. I'm going to use the double technique again. I'm just going to play it at a slightly faster tempo than I did before. So I tried again at that tempo because that worked out, but there were still a few mistakes in there. Notice how this line was actually harder than the one we did above it, and just by using this technique a few times, I was able to play through it fluently, and this is a song I've never played through before. So you can even apply this. Say you're not nearly at the level I am. If I am your piano teacher, after all, I should be at a higher level if you are one of my students. So it doesn't mean that you can apply this to any song you're learning. So whether you're learning Duck Duck Goose or anything in the beginning, Happy Birthday, Jingle Bells, you can apply it to those songs as well. So use these techniques well in all the songs you play. There are still more techniques though. Let's get to them right now. Hello, Nadia is with us again. Welcome back, Nadia. Glad to have you with us for another great live stream. Rich says, are there piano players that can play this correctly first try? Yes. But they are like savants, or they are somebody who practices 5 hours a day. Okay, let's take a look. And then Felicity is sharing an experience. It looks like they saw somebody do it. All right, so here we go. Let's go on to the next one. All right, let me see what the next one is. I don't remember the order. Okay. Is that it? Gradually increase tempo. Okay, so step number 4 here, which kind of puts together all the steps, is after you've done all these techniques and you feel pretty good about it, you want to start gradually increasing your tempo each time you play it. You don't want to play it and get fast while you're playing. You want to play it first, and then, each go around you have of it, go a little bit faster. So let's go back to our example here. We are going to do the same line we did, since that's what we've been doing all of our strategies on here. So let's take a look here. So I'm going to play it like I did before, except I'm going to play it slightly faster, and if it starts to fall apart on me, I need to go back and slow it back down. Huge, huge, huge tip for playing piano two-handed is you don't want to go from playing slow to fast right away, or even one time slow, one time medium, one time fast. You need to play it over and over and over and over again and gradually increase your tempo. Now the question is, do you need to get it to full speed, each line full speed, before moving on to the next one? Well, no. I would actually learn this the first time, and I would do each line with the quadruple technique and then the double technique. And then once you feel like you have a lot of the notes in there, it might not be full speed, but you feel like you have a lot of the mistakes ironed out, then you can move on to the next line. But like I said, I feel like the sooner you take care of problem areas when you are learning two-handed piano pieces, the better off you are, and these techniques will really help you do it. Okay, so here we go. And that worked out pretty good. I'm going to play it again, gradually faster, slightly faster than I played it before. Let me try again. For some reason, that gave me a little trouble. Let's try again. So see how I'm having more trouble with it? I need to slow it back down. So it's starting getting a little bit better. I'm going to try it again. And I realized realized I had a mistake in there so another reason it helps to play it over and over and focus is you will actually pick out more and more mistakes each time you go through it. I keep mishitting that note too. Let me try it again. There we go, finally. Okay, here we go. And there we go. All right, let's see here. Okay, Panda says, hey, you've helped me a lot. You're very welcome. Mario says, how can you tell what fingers to use? That's another great tip here. Let's go to the next one. Oh, that's actually the next tip. All right, here we go. Okay, the next very important step in all this is once you play it through a bunch of times, you want to check your fingering, and how you decide on what fingering to use can be a little tricky. I do have a lesson on fingering. I'll put it in the description once I put this video up. Or you can look it up. I think it's the Piano Fingering Guide. Just look up, lessons on the web on YouTube. And then let's take a look at this. So in general, the number one key is you don't want to run out of fingers. So if you are playing a pattern, let me play this left hand pattern here. And then you see how actually, going through this and correcting the mistake, I see now I was making a mistake. To start this D sharp on finger 1, what happens when I get to this part of it, well, actually it works because I can actually move finger 1. I guess that's how I was doing it before. So you never want to run out of fingers. There I happen to have the right one. But another tip for you is that you want to generally use scale fingering. So if you see an area like here in the second measure, where you have this A here, you want to generally use the same fingering that you would use for the scale coming down here, which is a C sharp minor scale. So it probably would be best to start this A here with finger 4, and then use the same fingering you would use for a C sharp minor scale. So generally you want to use the scale fingering and the chord fingering. So say I have a triad here in the beginning, which I do, the G sharp major triad. You want to use fingers 1, 3, 5 in general, but look here at the end of the first measure. I basically have to play G sharp, B sharp, and then G sharp. So I have to extend my hand out. So whenever you're extending range, you'll have to extend your hand out. There is a lot of things you should do to work up to this sort of thing, like learning your scales, your arpeggios, your chords, because a lot of the same fingering you're going to use for those, you're going to use for this song as well. Another thing to look out for are tied notes. So if you see notes that are tied, you want to make sure you're holding them. That's one mistake I was making when I was first doing this. So I have to hold this G sharp here, although they committed a faux pas because I have to hit that G sharp again. What's the deal with that? Okay, what's strange though is they have the G sharp held over. They want you to play all these notes, but then G sharp again, which would break the tie. So I don't know whether that's a mistake or what that is. Oops. So it kind of worked out. I'm going to try to hold this G sharp as much as I can. So I did have it held there. So basically what I would do is not play the G sharp again in the second measure. Sometimes music has confusing things written depending on who the editors were for the piece and things like that. Oh, thank you very much. Shesk has linked us here in the comments. It won't let him link the entire link, but I appreciate that. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so let's take a look here, everybody. We are nearing the end of the lesson here. Let me... some other general tips is you do not want to use pedal to cover up sloppiness or mistakes, especially in a Bach prelude like this. I would barely use pedaling at all when you're first learning a piece, and then if they have pedaling written, add it in where they have it, but don't... What a lot of students do is they jam on the pedal whenever they get to a hard part, hoping that the blurriness of the sound will get them through the section. I did it all the time when I was performing, either for a recital or in a group or anything like that. I would always make that mistake. So don't make that mistake of pressing on the pedal too much. Generally, pedal is best used subtly in small amounts rather than jamming it on all the time. Too much pedal can sound absolutely atrocious. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go over the tips with you. The four or five main ones. The first one, remember, is to focus in on the section. We focused in first on this first line here. I played it okay, and then we went on to the second line, and then, I played through that and focused just on that. It doesn't mean that you have to have one line perfect before you move on to the next line, but it does mean that you really shouldn't have a million mistakes in one line before just playing through the whole thing. You don't want to just aimlessly start at the beginning of the piece and play it right to the end and then just play from beginning to end all the time, because that will make the beginning of the piece good, the middle of the piece not so good, and the end of the piece terrible in some cases. So to make the whole piece sound consistently good, especially those hard two-handed piano parts, you want to really focus in on these sections. So you want to focus in on lines. I would start with lines. So focus in on line number 1, then do line number 2. But say you're in line number 2 and the last measure is really getting you. Well, you want to focus then in on the last measure of line 2. Make sense? And you don't want to leave that line until you feel like that line is pretty well under your fingers. Do not ignore mistakes. Huge mistake. The second thing was quadrupling the note value. So as if you remembered, we turned everything into what it would be 4 times that amount. So the eighth notes then became half notes, counting them 2 for each time. And that gives you a lot of time to be able to focus in and, tell what notes are coming up, and give your brain plenty of time to process all the music. Then you want to gradually increase the tempo. You're still going to count all the notes 4 times what they normally are. So a quarter note obviously would be a whole note then. But you want to count, each time you play it slightly faster than the last time you did. And if you feel like it's starting to fall apart in you, you need to slow it back down. After you feel like you're good at that, then only double the note values from what they were originally. You're not doubling them from what they are with their quadrupled. You're only doubling them now. So you're playing it twice as fast. Go through that. Do the same method where you play it through a bunch of times, gradually increasing the tempo each time you play it until you can get it to a decent tempo. And then you want to play it at basically its original speed. Okay, hold on, everybody. Okay. And you want to continue gradually increasing the tempo each time you play. And then the last one is check your fingering. You want to look up the fingering guide I have. I'm going to put it in the description for you in the recording of this video. And you want to generally use the same fingerings you do for triads. So if there's, triads in the song, you want to stick to those that you've learned. If there's scale runs, you want to stick to the scale fingering. That's generally the way to go. You need to be careful of things like ties, because those will force one of your fingers to hold down while the other fingers play, and sometimes that can change the original fingering you were going to use because you only have, you have less fingers to work with. So look out for those. So I want you really to try this at home, and I really want you to give it a chance. So do all of these things, pick out your next piano piece, and you want to focus in on the first line, just learning it. And then if you need to focus in on a measure, do that. You want to quadruple the notes, then you want to double the notes and then increase the speed, and then check your fingering. And then do that. It sounds like it's going to take a lot more time. It's because it sounds like a lot more work. It will actually take less time. I guarantee it. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been practicing for a long time. It will take less time. You'll make less mistakes. Those really impossible parts won't be so impossible anymore because you've really taken the time to give your brain a chance to process the notes by using the quadrupling and doubling techniques that we talked about in today's lesson. Okay, let's see. Sounds muddy. Yes, that is what the pedal would do. Gonna answer some questions here. Rich says, Mario, it comes with time. After a while of practicing, you'll know instinctively what fingers to use. The handbook really helped. Yes, getting a handbook or looking up getting the handbook's the best because they have the best printed exercises there. That does help out a lot too. When there's too much pedal, yeah, exactly, Nadia. Thank you, Rich. Yeah, so Rich is right on the money with that. Look that up. Tim, if you're using pedal, do you hold down the tied note? Interesting. Yes, you'd have to. Right? Let me think about this. No, you don't. No, you can break, because just playing it just now, you can break the pedal in the middle of a tie. In fact, I recommend you do it if you're, in general, you want to change or pop up the pedal every time you're changing chord. So when I start in the beginning here and play this chord, see how already it's blending together a little too much? So what I would do is when I hit this chord, I'm going to pop up the pedal, and you can still hear this note down here because holding it in with my finger keeps its tone sustained, as we call it. Very good question. Rich always comes with the good questions. Okay, so my tablet's running out of battery. Oh no. Okay, so what I want to tell you is that if you enjoyed what we talked about today, the two-handed piano playing techniques, you really need to give it a chance. Let me know in the comments. I really want to know how this is working out for you, or what struggles you may be having, and I want you to share them with us because the more we learn together, the better off we are. I seriously think we all learn a million times better, when we all learn together, when we all ask questions together. Hold on, everybody. Okay, leave a comment, and then, let's see what comment. Try this out, and let me know how. And share. Okay. Okay, so I don't want to leave you. Okay, so I want you to leave a comment in the comment section. Once you watch this video, try this out and share. Share me your experiences, because when we all share together, we all learn a lot together. I've learned a lot through just reading comments of students out there who really share, their problems, and then another student will kind of chime in, and then I'll chime in, and I feel like we all get a lot out of it, and I even learn something from it because I'll hear tips or things that people, see something in a different way. I've never seen it before. And, it's just, it's really even a learning experience for me. So always be a member of the community in the comments, if possible. If you have something either to ask or to contribute, always welcome on the channel. I want to thank Shesk for a super chat. Here's to another great lesson. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Shesk. So if you don't know what a super chat is, it's a totally optional way of contributing to the live stream if you want. So there's a little $sign below the chat. It's kind of a new feature. And basically you can select a very small amount if you want to donate, and then a message to go along with it. And I'll shout it out like I did for Shesk. And it's a great way of helping us here continue and build the live stream even. Because as you know, there's a lot of equipment and time and things that get involved with doing this, and every bit helps to help other students learn as well. So I always really appreciate it, but you don't have to. Just want to let you know about that. Every chord change, Eric is here once again. Rich says every chord change you lift the pedal. In general, yes. Otherwise, you will be blending harmonies, and that will not be good. So, like, say I play C major, right? And then play F major, and then play A major, and then B diminished. You hear that? But if I pop up the pedal each time, there we go. Now I got it. It sounds pretty good. Let's see. Tim, how do you learn the difference between MP and MF when they are so close in volume? I can't get my ear for it. How do you learn? My dynamics are all over the place. It depends. What I would do is I would find a song that has a section with MF and MP. I don't have one in front of me right now. How about this? Try out this exercise. I have an exercise for you. Let me bring us back to here. All right, I have an exercise for you, Rich. I want you to play your C major scale in pianissimo as soft as you can play it. Starting to get a little loud there. Let me try it again. So I played a pianissimo. I'm going to play a piano now. And I'm going to play the note a few times to make sure it's louder than the one I just played, but not way louder, because I need a range to move, to grow into. So here we go. So that's as soft as I can play. That's just slightly louder. Still soft in general. Now we're going to try it Mezzo Piano. Each time just making it slightly louder than the last time. Now Mezzo Forte. So let me think about how hard to hit it. So it's getting louder, but it's still not, obviously super loud, but there still was a difference between this and the one I played before. Like I said, sometimes you have to hit that first note to kind of judge with your ears. And then each time, here's back to Mezzo Forte. And then let me increase the tempo some more. Like I said, you want to hit that first note and hear it and say, all right, is that loud enough? Is that too loud? That's probably where Fortissimo's at. So I do have some room here. So I would say here is probably pretty good. It takes some... It's subjective. Not everybody's going to decide on the same thing for all of these, but I recommend you do this where you start at pianissimo, play your scale, play it once, pianissimo, then play it again, ever so slightly louder to piano, then bump it up each time. That'll kind of at least get you used to incrementally increasing your dynamics, but you want to really, I guess, focus on the Mezzo Piano and the Mezzo Forte one, because as you could see, as I played the scale just now, there was a difference. There wasn't a huge difference, as there really shouldn't be. They're both pretty in the middle, but you want to practice that with, I would practice that even with all your scales, or even your pieces, or maybe your Hanon, pick a Hanon exercise, play it at pianissimo, and then each time gradually increase the dynamics, and then that'll get you practice playing all the ones in between as well. It's subjective. That's what I needed to hear. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, and then one more thing. I want to make an announcement while anybody else is leaving a comment. Looks like Eric is here with us again, as I'm pretty sure I called you out before. I'm going to make sure I get to everybody. Okay, so let me go here to my website. If you don't know, I have a website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. It's like the name of the YouTube channel, except you put piano in front of it. I've considered changing the name of the piano to the name of the YouTube channel to this. I'm at a loss for words today. But go to pianolessonsontheweb.com. Actually, if you type in www.lessonsontheweb.com, it'll take you here. But I digress. All right, so when you go here, I have a ton of courses that I've made. So if you like what you see on the channel, you're really going to like the courses I have there, because they have the same kinds of instructional videos you see here on YouTube on the channel, along with printable sheet music examples. It comes with assignments. It comes with a bunch of other things. Let's see, online activities and real songs to play. A lot of other things with the instructional videos to make it an entire learning experience. So you can learn a lot more over there, especially since it covers anywhere from the beginner, like the YouTube channel does, and then it covers a lot more than the YouTube channel does. So if you're getting a lot out of these lessons on the channel and you're looking to get to that next level, I should say, you want to head over to pianolessonsontheweb.com and check it out. You can ask me any questions you have, tim@lessonsontheweb.com, and I'd be more than happy to help answer your questions. Howdy, says David. I don't know why I said it like that. How you doing, David? Maybe because you said howdy. Howdy. Rich, how you doing? He says, thank you. You're welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Leave it a thumbs up if you did, if you learned something from it. I'm telling you, try out this technique. You're really going to like it. It's really going to do a lot for you. It takes a lot of focus, though, and a lot of perseverance, but I know you can do it. But yeah, give it a like, because that lets other people know they can learn from this lesson as well. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to, we're going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. Not right now, but I'm just letting everybody know. I'm going to thank everybody that came out tonight. I'm going to thank David. I'm going to thank Rich. Thank you. Nadia, thanks for coming. I don't know why I'm talking like a New Yorker. Eric. Thanks for coming. Shesk, thank you so much for the super chat. You're awesome. Mario, thank you for coming. Nadia, I think I called you out before. Let's see. PandaCraft, you're very welcome. I'm glad I was able to help you a lot. Flisty, thanks for coming. And let's see who else came. Super Princess, thank you once again for attending our live stream. Everybody is welcome back every time, of course. I missed this this comment by Moish. Repertoire is basically a list of songs that you know, to oversimplify it. Kingsley, thanks for coming. Green, thanks for coming out. And Stellarum, thanks for coming out to our live stream again, being one of our good students. Barbara, thanks for coming out and sharing your experience with us. Okay. Oh, David caught the end. Bummer. Yeah, you know what? Tim is still in effect. Text the word piano 43506 to get a reminder a few minutes before we go live. No, that is no longer a thing. I really couldn't. It actually costs quite a bit of money per month to run that, to let you know. So that's why it kind of got the axe. It got the axe because, it was just costing a bit too much per month for that. If you want to get notifications from me just the same way, but not on your telephone, through your email, or you just want YouTube to do a better job of telling you when we're live, smash that bell. If you find it, you can find it near the subscribe button near my channel. Whenever you see that little bell near my channel, click on that and click turn notifications on. And I'll basically do the same thing. YouTube, I don't know why YouTube wouldn't tell you that we're going live, but that will make sure that they do because their system is broken. All right, but not B-flat blues because that's boring. I don't know, Rich. I don't know. I feel like I can do the toccata and fugue, but I've done that one before. But I have it right in front of me, so why not? Avi is here again. Hello, Avi. Oh, where am I? This is a different version than I'm used to reading. What? There we go. Thank you, Avi. Like I said, it was a little bit different of a version than I'm used to, so I had to kind of use some brain translation to get that one done. So there was something a little different for you. I have played that one for you before, but I will come up with something. I am still going to do the thing where I practice the same song, for each live stream to see how far I can get on it. But I'm still deciding which one to do. So look out for that. That is coming down the pipeline. Thank you, Shesk. Thank you. Bravo. And thank you everybody so much for, for coming out and learning with us. As you saw you're very welcome, Nadia. As you saw, the title of this video was Learn With Us instead of just calling it Piano Class Live Stream. And I think that's what we're going to call the live stream from now. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be something like Learn With Us because we really come here and learn together every week. And I just think it's amazing. There's a fervent following of regular students that attend these, maybe not every single time, but they attend quite often, and I do see returning and familiar names, and it's really cool that we can come together and learn. I feel like everybody contributes really good questions, and we all have a really good discussion together, and we all learn a lot together. It's been such a cool experience for me being able to teach you. I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight. We are going to be meeting on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come out and watch us then. Let's see. I wonder what the process of those old composers were to compose something like this. Yes. That would be a whole tons of lessons in and of itself of what exactly they were thinking, although nobody really knows. Only they know for sure. Do you have any jazz song in your collection? Not memorized. I do have a couple of jazz tunes that I have played before. I'd have to dig them up though. But yeah, that's something. Learning to accompany myself. Yeah, so I should. I'll dig up some of my jazz pieces I have around, and maybe next time or one of these times. You need to give me time to do it because I actually don't know where they are. but yeah, I could play you guys and gals some jazz pieces sometime in the near future. That's definitely something we can do. Rich says you're the man. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody else. All right, I think I'm going to end it here. Thanks everybody for coming out. It's been a great experience once again. I always love having these live streams. I hope you got something out of today's lesson. Remember to leave a like if you like. And I'll check you out we're meeting again Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. Don't miss it. If you miss it, it's okay. We'll meet again the next Friday. But hey, you're welcome to come back on Sunday or anytime. We will have a day live stream. I have no idea because I really fit those in whenever I can on my schedule. So those, if you're lucky enough to get the notification and you're around or you're on lunch break like Rich was the one day, you can feel free to attend. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Not a great week, a great day, because I'll see you again on Sunday. Thank you so much. Catch you later, David. Real Chef says, thanks, Tim, and thanks for this one. A pleasure as always. Yes, likewise, Shesk. Shesk is the man. All right, let's see. Eric, thank you very much. I thanked everybody already, but thank you, Nadia. You're very welcome. Always a pleasure. All right, thanks, everybody. I'm peacing out, so I'll talk to you on